How's it going, everybody? Nirvana here, back with yet another free lesson video. This one's about how to improvise over minor chords using triad pairs. Now, before we get into the lesson, I do want to say Kiki's here. Oh, hello. Hey, come on. Oh, what's up? Hi. Alright, so as I was saying, this lesson's mostly about triad pairs and how to solo over minor vamps. So before we get into the actual guts of the lesson, we want to say please hit the like button, please subscribe, help us grow this channel. I'll keep posting a lot of more free content and free lesson videos, and if you have any requests or suggestions, share it below, comment below. I'm distracted clearly because Kiki's on my lap. Anyways, so for those of you who don't know what triad pairs are, they're basically two triads, as the name suggests, that make up a certain sound. So it can be like a Dorian sound, it can be a melodic minor sound. Mikey. So in this case, we're using the C major triad and the D major triad over an A Dorian sound. So I've written out a lick, which I'll have tabs for. Let me play it very slowly, and we'll kind of talk about what we're doing there. So. So these are all just C major and D major triad. So before even you play this lick, I highly suggest to go and actually work out all the triads across the fretboard. So if I'm playing on these C strings, I'm going to alternate between C and D. So it'll be C, D, C, D, C, D, C, and that's it, back to that position. Then I'm going to do the other three, so the D, G, and B strings. So I've got first inversion C, and then second inversion root. If I do the other three, the A, D, and G strings, I get first inversion, second inversion, back to root. And then if I do the lower three strings, I get so once we map that across the fretboard, we'd be able to see this lick a lot clearly. So it's basically just alternating between a C and a D triad. So starts with a C, goes to D, back to C, and then we voice lead that into the F sharp, which is the third of D. So we do D triad, C triad, D triad again, C triad, and back to D, C, C, D. So that's just the way I end it. You don't have to do it like that. That's a really cool way, I think, to improvise over like a static minor vamp and kind of stay diatonic. Just as a bonus, why don't we talk about the melodic minor sound? So superimposing, which means imposing something that's not really in the backing track or in the chord. So it's an A Dorian sound, but we can also get away with that sound, which is the melodic minor. So it's 1, 2, flat 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So it's like a major scale with a flat 3, if you will, or a minor scale with a raised 6th and a raised 7th, however you want to think about it. So you can use the C augmented sound, which is, and that sounds pretty cool over, I would say, that's a really hip sound. So that kind of augmented sound I think is really cool. Then we can kind of go in depth and talk about the other triads that you can find within C augmented, which is like C, A flat, and E. And you can use all those kind of over A minor, and they'll sound really hip, but that's for another lesson. If you want to hear more about that, leave a comment below, and I'll make sure I make like a video on how to superimpose these sounds over a minor chord. One last thing that I will say, using the 5 chord, superimposing the 5 chord over that single chord backing track, right? So we can use the E7 sound over that A minor. So we could use the E7 flat 9, which is like the E mixolydian flat 9 flat 13, also known as E Phrygian dominant, which look essentially is just a harmonic minor starting on E. So that's a harmonic minor, which is A minor with a raised 7th. And if I just start that on E and end it on E, I get E Phrygian dominant. You get that really gypsy jazz sound. So you know all that. And there's other stuff about it. You can use all the diminished triads, and we'll talk about that. If you're interested in that, leave a comment and I will make a video on it. So the other last thing that I will talk about is the altered scale. So using that over just that, but then the important thing on using any of these tensions is really just to resolve it well and see if you can take it back home with as much confidence and as much intent as possible. And that's something I work on constantly and I think about very, very consciously. So that might be the one thing to kind of look out for, is, you know, using all these outside sounds and cool hip sounds, but then bringing it back really well. So on that note, I hope you've enjoyed this. Again, hit the like button, hit subscribe, share to anyone who you think might be interested in this, and I'll be back with another video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a good one.